Hello there. Having spent the past year as a graduate assistant at SFA, I have spent dozens of hours grading student assignments for professors. Now, this grading is based on the rubric the professor created for the assignment. And if you look at any of your rubrics, you'll almost certainly see a section that's dedicated to formatting. Now, I think formatting is especially important for three reasons. The first is that based on the assignments I've graded, formatting is worth anywhere from, say, about 5% to about 15% of the total points you can earn on your assignment, with the short opinion-based papers having the least proportion of the points earned through formatting, and the longer research-based papers having the largest proportion earned through formatting. The second reason is that above and beyond the points you earn in reason 1 from your formatting is that by following your discipline's style guide and conventions, you tend to do a better job of organizing your thoughts, which makes it easier for the person assessing your work to understand your arguments and to follow you, which makes you more persuasive. And so you're going to earn points on top of the formatting points just because you're organized in a way that they're expecting to see, which makes it easier for them to follow you. The third reason is that formatting does not change very often. And when it does change, it doesn't change very often. So by learning how to format early on in your time at college, you'll be adding 5, 10, maybe even 15% to your grade as compared to somebody who doesn't do any formatting, who just sort of throws stuff together and loses all of those points, which I have seen. And so with all of that taken into account, I think it's very important that you become good at formatting early on in your time at college, because they're some of the easiest points you can earn. Really, it does not take a whole lot of effort to format something properly if you know what to do, even if Word or LaTeX or however you're doing it fights you sometimes. So let's take a look at some of the common issues I've seen over the past year in student papers and what formatting needs to be there according to the APA's 7th edition style guide. Instead of going through the publication manual itself, we're just going to go ahead and look at the Purdue OWL's sample student paper in APA 7th edition. As a general rule, the Purdue OWL is an outstanding resource for understanding how you're supposed to follow a style guide. And quite earnestly, if I wasn't a graduate student and needed to have the freedom to look at a style guide that has the insane level of detail, I don't think I would have a publication manual. I would just rely on the Purdue OWL because they are so reliable. So, before we begin, I'm just going to note up here, this green box, no running head on a student paper. I'm so glad that we're finally there. Running heads were just a mess to construct. If we go over to Word, you'll see that for a running head to work, we need a different first page. So we have to tick this, then we have to go over here, put in our page number, again, top right. Then from here, we have to make sure we don't have this highlighted, typically by hitting the left arrow key. Then we put in words, and then we have to tab it over. But if our running head was too long, that would give us our page number aligned down, which is an obvious mistake, as is the issues with the running head and the not running head and the capitalized and all of that. So fortunately now, we don't have to worry about that. Fortunately now, it's just get rid of all of this. Page number, top of page, plain number 3, top right, close the header, and we're done. So convenient. It's going to save a whole bunch of people a whole lot of points. Now, back over to where we were. The next thing I see is with our title. So your title needs to be bolded, centered, and title case. That means the important words are capitalized. So things that are more than 3 letters that don't follow a colon don't need to be capital. Rather, if it's more than 3 letters, or if it follows the colon or starts the title, it needs to be capitalized. So A, not following a colon, wouldn't be capitalized. For, and would not be capitalized. And this title needs to begin in the top third of your paper. how this explained here in the Purdue OWL is you need to have 3 or 4 lines empty above your title, then your title. This means that your title needs to be on the 4th or 5th line of your paper. Once we go down below, we have a whole bunch of information. So you're going to have your name, no titles. So if you're at a PhD program, no master's, and you have a master's degree, don't put in that you're a master's of science and whatever. No titles, just your name or the names of the people contributing to the project. Then you're going to have university affiliation, so department you're in, comma, university. So Department of English, comma, Purdue University. Department of Psychology, comma, Stephen F. Austin State University. Department of Biology, comma, Gonzaga University. Though I think biology has a different style guide, so whatever floats your boat. Then this line, we're going to put in your course catalog abbreviation for the course. So Introductory Psychology is PSY 101 or PSYC 101 colon Introductory Psychology or General Psychology, whatever it's called. You'll have to pull that out from your own syllabus, most likely. Then we have the faculty's name. So Dr. Richard Teeth in their example, Dr. Stephen Hawking in my example. Then we put the date. I know that not all countries use month, day, year. Some of them use day, month, year. I would say go with whatever you use in your country and just be willing to talk to your professor about, well, this is the way we used it in my country, especially if you're an exchange student. I think people would be willing to give you the points back on that one, even if you end up with the unfortunate response of, well, next time you have to do it our way to get the point because now you know. Next big area, abstract. So abstract is a level 1 heading, and we're going to get into the different levels, all 5 levels of headings in a moment. But abstract is bolded, centered title case. And here's perhaps the largest percentage fail that I see is right here. In the abstract, your paragraph is not indented. It catches so many people off track. Next, down here, when we begin our introduction, we don't use the word introduction. We just use the title. This title, bolded, centered, title case, is the same title that you have up here on your cover page. So you just repeat it. Then we get to begin indenting. Then we get to carry on. Now, I don't have a huge preference for citations, so you can either do according to Dr. Whoever in parentheses the date, or you can do say what it is and then at the end in parentheses professor's name, comma, date. Your choice. I like to mix it up just so that things look a little bit different. If you're going to have multiple people, well, this is an interesting one. So you could do this. So you could say, this is the article, then in parentheses, the date of it, comma, as cited in this other study where you saw it. So if you are looking at a study and that study cites something that you want to cite, you can go ahead and cite that study that they're citing. You just need to indicate that you've done it. I don't see a whole lot of reason to do this. I think you can typically find the papers through your university, but sometimes you can't, and sometimes you can't find it through a search engine or anything else, and it's really not worth spending $40 just to double check somebody else's citation in a published article to cite it firsthand. But the name of the article you read, in parentheses, the date of that article, comma, or rather, sorry, the date of the original author, in parentheses, the date of that publication. So you see that you could just get this from the citation in the article you're reading, comma, as cited in, then the name, comma, date of the article you saw that in, then in parentheses. Useful if you're running short of time and you can't find the citation or the original citation. If you're going to go and cite multiple things inside of parentheses, you have 2 options. You can either list them according to date or alphabetically. Here they've done it alphabetically. So B, semicolon, G, or you could have done reverse order by date. It's your preference as long as you're consistent throughout your paper. This is really a higher level thing, just like this last comment about citing something cited elsewhere, but it is something that you'll see, so watch out for it. Again, you'll see here, just like up above, they've kept it consistent. They're doing it alphabetically, not by date. Now let's get on to our headings. So if a level 1 heading was bolded, centered, title case, level 2 headings are bolded, flush left, title case. So right here, bolded, flush left, title case. To go from 2 to 3, all we do is add an italic. So we are bolded, title case, flush left, and italic. If we go look at a level 4 heading, we'll see that we are bolded, indented once, non-italic. To go to a level 5, we would go bolded, indented once, italic. So from 2 to 3 and from 4 to 5, we just add the italic. That's our indicator. Otherwise, they're the same. And then the distinction between the 2 and 3 set is that our paragraph begins on the next line. So you see here on level 3, the paragraph begins down here, so indented on the next line. Same would apply to a level 2 or a level 1. When we start looking at 4 and 5, we have a period at the end, then our paragraph begins on the same line, no indent. So that applies to level 4 and level 5. There's a great little image on the Purdue Owl's website that has that. I will link down to that below so you can look at that, because heading levels can be somewhat confusing. I know it got me for a while, but once you're familiar with it, it really is very easy to follow. Let's see. Last place we're going to go is down here to our references page. You'd think I'd need to talk about tables and figures, but I think because people don't use them very often, they go and look up how to do them, and so they typically do them very well. Alrighty. So references is a level 1 heading, the bolded center title case, and then we have our references are hanging indent, double spaced, with certain parts italicized. I know most of you seem to use a citation machine now. I still stick with writing mine by hand or by computer, typing them out based on the article I have in front of me, but the citation machines are usually correct. There might be some small mistakes you make, but typically they're fine. The only issue I tend to see is if, say, so we're here and can we, and it just pastes in like this. Well, do I have the options? Well, I don't have anything that gives me a hanging indent, so we're just going to leave it. We're going to go ahead, right click, paragraph, over here to special, hanging indent by ½ inch. Okay, and boom, we got it. Sometimes you'll have issues with this. If you are having issues copying and pasting something in, oftentimes the easiest fix is just to manually type it in by hand. That will fix your issue there. Now we're APA formatted appropriately. All right. That covers the most common issues I see in student papers as regards their formatting. There's still other issues in there, but they don't pertain to formatting, so we'll leave them out for now. Hopefully this is helpful for you. Hopefully you take advantage of the easy points that are following your discipline style guide. Let me know if there was anything that was unclear here, or if you need to ask a specific question about how something is done, go ahead and let me know. And as you post that comment, go ahead and check out the Purdue Owl. They're a terrific resource, and they're certainly going to have something to answer you, even if it takes a little while to find it. So until next time, cheers.